According to the ACLU suit, U.S. Border Patrol officers detained two men in separate incidents and deleted photos the men took at the Calexico and San Ysidro ports of entry. Joining me is David Loy, legal director for the ACLU of San Diego and Imperial counties. U.S. Customs and Border Protection declined our request to be interviewed, saying they could not comment on ongoing litigation. But David, you're here, so tell us what Ray Askins said happened to him at the border back in April.
Mr. Askins was standing on a public street in the city of Calexico taking photographs of the outside of the port of entry building from the U.S. side to illustrate a PowerPoint he was preparing to talk about environmental problems at the border in terms of vehicle emissions at the port of entry, when several CBP agents emerged from the port, grabbed him, detained him, harassed him, frisked him, took his camera, deleted his photographs. Department of Justice itself says law enforcement should never delete photographs.
The ACLU is also representing, in this case, self-proclaimed activist Christian Ramirez for a similar incident back in 2010. What happened there?
Mr. Ramirez had just crossed through the border. He had been in Tijuana with his wife, visiting family, had returning to the United States, had passed through inspection already, and was crossing a pedestrian bridge on his way, on the U.S. side again. When he saw CBP agents doing an outbound checkpoint, he was concerned that male agents were conducting frisks and pat-down searches of women. He wanted to document that in case it was a problem and just to have a record of it, as is his fundamental right to do. Used his phone to photograph it, was approached by security guards, was told not to photograph, continued photographing, continued descending the pedestrian bridge, surrounded by several agents who were very aggressive with him, one of whom said, "Give me a reason to take you down." Again, took his phone, deleted the pictures, and otherwise threatened and chilled his right to his fundamental First Amendment rights.
Just very briefly, aside from the photo, is it legal for a male border agent to pat down a female traveler?
It might be, it might not be. Part of the issue is we want to be able to document. We as citizens have a right to document the conduct of our government officials. We pay their salaries. We have a right to document their conduct.
CBP declined an interview, as I said earlier, but they did send a statement to KPBS telling us that they recognize that travelers will use electronic devices while waiting at the port. But once the inspection process begins, they said that the CBP prohibits the use of these devices in order to ensure the safety of the CBP officer and the traveling public, and to protect against the advancement of criminal activity. First of all, does the CBP in the suit admit that they did take those photos and delete them?
I don't know their position yet. We just filed the lawsuit, and so we're waiting for their response. In response to their statement, first, my clients were not in the inspection area. They were on the U.S. side of the border. Mr. Ramirez had already passed through inspection. Mr. Askins was on a public street belonging to the city of Calexico outside the port of entry. Second, even if they had been in the inspection process, there is no evidence that photographing conduct and actions that are already exposed to the public numerous times a day, no evidence that in any way threatens security. There is a fundamental First Amendment right to document government conduct, and there have been numerous abuses at ports of entry specifically.
Well, let's go back. You keep saying there's a fundamental right to document this. There's a right, but aren't there international security measures when you're talking about an international border that they say, hey, we have a right to protect our international borders? Does that supersede the First Amendment right? So
the border is not a constitution-free zone. There is a fundamental First Amendment right to take photographs, period. There is also from anything that is knowingly exposed to public view. Second, there is an even more fundamental right to document the conduct of government agents, and there is a serious problem with abuses at ports of entry. We have filed an administrative complaint with DHS about serious abuses and violence and excessive force and humiliation perpetrated by border agents on innocent individuals at the ports of entry. It is fundamental that we as the public have the right to hold our government agents accountable, particularly at the border.
Are there other court rulings in similar cases? And if so, part two of that is, do these sort of court cases actually change behavior of law enforcement?
Well, government officials are bound to follow the law, and if we make law, we expect they will follow it. There are cases upholding the right to photograph and document, for example, the security measures taken by TSA. There are also cases upholding the fundamental right to photograph and videotape arrests in progress by police in public places. These are areas, and my clients were in areas that were open to the public. Okay, they weren't even in the inspection station, so that's, you know, that is just moot. But even if they were, we would still believe that their position, that CBP's position, is unlawful.
Okay, we are out of time. David Loy, legal director for the ACLU in San Diego and Imperial County. Thanks so much, and we'll have more of your interview from Midday Edition on our website.
Well, thank you very much.